Thank you so much for being on Dostcast. Thank you for allowing us into your lovely home. And obviously, like I said before, I've been a huge admirer of everything you've done. I think when we speak of advertising, we speak of you in this country. To start things off, I just wanted to ask you, how is it that you're so invaluable to people? Because, I mean, your book says it. Wherever I go, I search your name. It's everywhere. You've amazing friends in different places. What is it that you've done that has allowed you to have
Nothing.
friends?
Absolutely nothing. First, thank you for having me on Dostcast. I've heard admirable things about you. Compared to the people you've interviewed in the past, I'm far too insignificant, so we'll make this fun without the academic heft that the others have brought to your podcast. But to answer your question, all of us think हमने बड़े तीर मारे हैं कि भाई हम लोग we are very important, we are very invaluable. Actually, we are not. We're not. We're insignificant in the larger scheme of things. What have I done? Diddly jack. I have always self-embellished, self-helped, in the sense that I knew that I would not have the courage, the desire, or the wherewithal to ask anyone for any favor. I have therefore done everything on my own. No one can say, oh, isne ye diya tha, ya usne isko ye diya tha. No one can say that. How has it happened? I don't know. Now, you might think, oh, he's being diffident and, he's trying to play me. But let's go back into the journey of time, as it were. I was born and raised in a reasonably wealthy family in Calcutta. But my father, at a dining table like this, told me three things. He says, A, never take a loan. B, never lie, because if you do, you'll have to remember what you said. And the third, never say something behind someone's back that you'd be afraid to say on their face. It was almost like giving someone a weapon of individual destruction, because there I was armed with these three things and you can't go wrong. And why we go wrong, and Salim Khan, Salman's father, sadly now known as Salman's father, one day we were walking on Bandstand. Now, how did I meet him? I was walking on Bandstand and he says, सुहेल भाई आपको टीवी पे देखते हैं ऐसे चलिए जी अब इसी खातिर आप मुझे कुछ सबक सिखाइए तो I said, what is the problem with India today? He says, माँ गायब है. I said, means? He's saying, पुराने ज़माने में अगर फ़ोन आता था, बच्चा उठाता था, बच्चा माँ को दे देता था. He says, today when the phone rings, the mother standing behind the child and telling the child, कह दो मैं घर पे नहीं हूँ. So he's saying the lessons of lying are being taught by parents to children today. Why not lie? Why don't you need to? I mean, everyone says, oh, of course, we all know you shouldn't lie. You know why we lie? And this whole thing about a white lie is not a bad thing, and Gandhi ji said this, it's all bullshit. The day you start lying, you might think you're making the other guy look stupid, but actually, you're hurting yourself. And I've lived with these three dictums. But the most critical of all, which I laboriously drill into everyone's head, is the ability, the passion for scholarship. To this day, I read a book a day. It sounds impossible. When I began this journey, it was. It no longer is. It's like oxygen for me. If I don't read, I feel vacuous. I got in from London yesterday, and thanks to the superb AQI in Delhi, I'm feeling miserable. But I'm still going through the motions of a book because that's giving me succor. It's giving me consolation. It's consoling my soul and my mind. And it's keeping me away from thinking about, oh, yaar, gala kharab hai, pollution hai. Which brings me to a very critical point. And, you're much younger and perhaps much wiser. Thing is, in life, we think, yaar, this is going to be my strategy. We'll plan it like this. Cut. Suddenly you get run over by a stationary bus. What do? So never plan. Plan for brands, plan strategy, but don't plan for life. Because you never know. And enjoy whatever comes your way. One day will not be as good as the other. You might be poverty stricken at one stage in your life. So keep lifestyles simple.
Yeah, your Twitter says bon vivant. Is that the act?
But keep lifestyles simple. जो महक उड़द चने की दाल में है ना, वो कैवियर एंड ट्रफल्स में कभी नहीं होगी. And be proud to say that. You know where I eat? Off the street. I'll stay in very good hotels, but I will eat off the street. You know why? A, it's fresh. B, it's tasty. There's no crap about it. Now, everyone will go to the Oberoi for chole bhature. Have you tried the Om Bhatura Wala here in Gurgaon DLF Phase 1? No. You know why we don't try it? Oh my God. If someone sees us, then what? The problem is we've stopped seeing ourselves in the mirror. You know, P.G. Wodehouse brilliantly said, and I say this of Modi, Churchill, and Mahatma Gandhi. Wodehouse had a character called Lord Fauntleroy. And of Lord Fauntleroy, he said, whenever Lord Fauntleroy looks in the mirror, he erects his own statue. The tragedy is we erect our own statues every day. Vinamre ne kya kiya yaar, kamal hai. Plus, the pettiness in our lives. The desire to be popular. Churchill brilliantly said, the only person you've got to be popular with is your wife. But हम सबके साथ popular होना चाहते हैं. So you won't say something which might upset you. We will try and, sidestep, but behind your back we'll say, yeah, what a duffer. Don't I know? Of course I know. So the point is, scholarship insulates you from these kind of headwinds.
Got it. You've also written in your book, which was written a long time ago, I don't know how much your thought process has changed since then, that you have to have, I'm paraphrasing, but you have to have the courage to be disliked, and you have to have an opinion, you have to defend your friends. All of those things I found fresh because it's very easy to change your opinions and stances with the wind, with the current governments, and all of those things. And does this come from scholarship alone? Does it come from having long-lasting friendships? How is it that you're able to say what's on your mind and, get away with it?
So, of Galileo and Socrates, it was said, people thought they were saying things they were insane and therefore forgave them, other than the chalice. But in my case, people must be thinking I'm insane. And of 100 people you'll meet, 99 people will be pissed off with me without having ever met me, which is fine, by the way, because you can only have 5, max 6 friends in your life. The rest are all acquaintances. And the true definition of a friendship is you pick up from where you last left. But you never ask, bhai, interim mein tum kahan the? Kyun nahi phone kiya? Kyun nahi mile? Bete ki shaadi mein kyun nahi aaye? None of that happens. It's very important to define friendship. And I'm glad you asked that question. Because we have confused friendship with acquaintanceship. We have confused popularity with love. You may be popular, but you may not be loved. What is more important to you? Being popular or being loved? For me, being loved. Because popular, exactly what you said, will change with every passing day. Today, if I praise you, I'll be popular with you. But if I don't praise you or don't even mention you and you still have affection for me, that affection remains undiluted. That love remains unfaltered, undiluted, unfettered. But that's what I want. And I don't want love from everyone. I want love from my dogs. I want love from my wife, from my daughter. That's it. If I can get, and from my health, from my staff. If that love I can get, that is more than I've ever wished for. Because that love is the love that is missing. That's the love we don't see when we have it. Usko hum log nikarte hain.
Would you say that to a young man who's trying to get up and coming in the world?
Absolutely. Don't be popular. Be loved. You have 565,000 people listening to Dostcast not because you're popular, but because you're good. They can take away everything. They can't take away your mind, and they can't take away your tongue. So sharpen both of those. I used to tell people when I was young, much younger, I would say, get into debating, get into dramatics, get into elocution. You know, the other day I went to someone's house here, and this person has become a joint secretary or secretary, whatever, in the government. Oh, sir, I used to see you in St. Stephen's. I said, we used to whip you. Yes, true. I got my first motorcycle, Hero Honda motorcycle, with the winnings in debates in colleges here from Calcutta. Then my first Maruti Deluxe from here. And the joy that you get, because, you know, and then there are some naysayers, oh, gift of the gab. But at least there's a gift. You have a gab, but you're ungifted. What can I do? So, you know, and you must have the ability to give back as well. Sometimes you say, nahi yaar, pange kyun lo? 100% lo. You must make people who are miserable feel miserable and make it known to them that they are miserable, lest there be any doubt in their minds.
What would you say to in a country where critical thinking and panel discussions are, there is no critical thinking and mostly it's panel discussions and all of that. Yeah. How can you really have a reasonable argument with someone?
I have to say, whether it's Arnab Goswami or Navika, they give me my time. The rest,
they give your time to you, but they don't give time to everyone
else. I don't care. Because I'm not holding the candle for everyone. My middle name is not Teresa. So I really don't care. आपको नहीं देते होंगे, आप लड़ो जाके, मेरे को तो दे देते हैं. And not now, they've given... See, the other thing is, and here, I just want to do a segue. It's important for you to get time only when you have something important to say. Half the time, the party spokespeople are, you know, giving their party line. Some of the jokers come unprepared. Then you have the interrupters, whose only job is to interrupt. You know, I don't know if you've heard of a philosopher, very, very well-known, very famous at his time, but unarguably one of the finest minds India has ever produced, called Jiddu Krishnamurti.
Of course. His schools are famous all across the world. He's
now, see, Rishi Valley.
Show. Yeah.
Jiddu Krishnamurti was delivering a lecture in Calcutta at a place called Judges Court Road. As the lecture finished, a hand went up immediately. So I was there. I was about 8 years old or 9 years old. And Jiddu Krishnamurti smiled. And he used to speak in a very soft voice. And he says, yes. He says, I have one question for you, sir, one question. He says, no. No, I have. No. You want me to listen to you. So that guy was zapped. It was the truth. And then the guy admitted. He said, I actually have a comment. Bhai, jis desh mein aapko ye antar nahi malum, what is a comment and what is a question? Where the hell are you headed? And we love. You ask an Indian, you ask him, ha bhai, Ramesh, are you going to Bombay tomorrow? You know what his answer will be? I've come back from Coimbatore. No one answers a question in this country. Think about it. You try it at home tomorrow or today. Ask anyone, yaar, are you going to Bombay tomorrow? No, yaar, I've just come back from Calcutta. Bhai, aap prashn ka uttar to dijiye. But we don't. So we are a unique country. I've often said, people say, oh, you know, India, blah, blah, blah. I said, see, India is like the bumblebee. Aerodynamically, the bumblebee can't fly because of its shape. But the bumblebee doesn't know that. So it's flying happily. By all logic, India should have failed in 1952. But no Indian realizes that. Chal rahi hai gaadi, achhi chal rahi hai. So people ascribe, oh yaar, BJP ne ye kiya, wo kiya, ye kiya. We had formidable leaders, some of whom tinkered with our soul. They tinkered with our DNA. And we've survived. The resilience of a country like ours bears its edifice in its civilizational legacy, which people haven't understood. These jokers are making people fight. Hindu, Muslim, Christian. Irrelevant. These are things that are soul-destroying. They don't realize that these destroy the fabric of a country, which no country should either allow or can afford. People don't invest in countries they hate. People don't invest in countries they fear. They invest in countries they love. Because when there's love, there's harmony. When there's harmony, there's productivity. And where there's productivity, there's return on investment. We as a nation have to figure out whether we want return on investment or return on noise, whether we want return on trust or return on divisiveness. Once we answer that fundamental set of questions, we'll be a great country.
How do you think that you have an opinion on all of these things? I see you on TV, I see you tweeting, I see you talking about politics. Do you have skin in the game in every single field that allows you to make an opinion that is so sharp and eloquent?
So I don't have skin in the game because skin in the game would mean that I have vested interests. So zero. I work with some of the finest clients in the world at the highest end in terms of the fee. But I'm very clear that I don't get involved with PR, meeting, arranging it, nothing. I only do branding and marketing for them. So that's the professional bit. Second, as I told you, if you read, and because you're from Calcutta, you've always articulated and amplified an opinion. I'm now just using more and more fields available to me.
You know, there's a meme because in the memes, Bengalis write long paragraphs, so they often make this joke: Bengali detected opinion rejected.
Yeah,
Right.
but people make fun. But look, in Bengal, opinion and conversation are at the heart of everything. The quintessential Bengali adda, where we all met at the local tea shop and we discussed everything. I mean, you tell me, which city on the planet can you walk in at 5:30 in the evening, have a 1-hour discussion on the demise of the Singhara, which is actually the Bengali version of samosa, and then get on to Marx and Engels and end with Andre Malraux after having completely finished Bernard Levy and sidestepped William Shakespeare? You tell me which city on this planet.
I would hazard a guess that it's Paris, but that would just be a literary version of that. No,
Yeah.
not really.
No one.
else.
And as I said, I've written many articles on Calcutta. I said it's a city, with due apologies to Jane Austen, where there is a lot of pride, but no prejudice. What hampers our intellectual forays or intellectual thinking is sometimes we are prejudiced. We're either prejudiced because of our religion, we are prejudiced because of our faith, we are prejudiced because of our beliefs. But I really don't care. And I just don't care. I don't know how to explain this to you. People who know me, and very few do, they know that I don't care. You know why? I came with nothing and I will leave with nothing. So those two are certainties.
Correct.
In the middle, you're enjoying your life here. I'm the only one who's now working on reversing life, in a manner of speaking, in terms of materialism. I was a great car freak. So from a Maruti, then I bought a Ferrari, then I bought a Maybach. Now I'm driving a Kia and I feel brilliant about it. Because when you look out of the Kia and you see all these guys and you wonder, हम लोग भी ऐसे उल्लू थे कि 4 पहिए चक्के वाली गाड़ी चलाते थे, but there's no comfort. And you tell me, what is so different between you and me versus the biggest billionaire in the world? खाना वही खाएंगे. If Elon Musk were to come to Delhi, he'll also suffer the same AQI. What is the big deal? We make a big deal, यार हमने ये कर लिया. किसी ने कुछ नहीं किया. जो आपने किया है, it's a higher order. Whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, it is a higher order. I have always been only grateful to one set of people, my parents. For me, their loss has been the most unbelievable loss that I've ever experienced. Ever. And that is a loss that I know I will never come to terms with. But when I remember them with gratitude, with a lot of delight. Because I know, the sacrifices they've made, the parenting that they've engineered for us, for my brother and me. And, you have to be Salutary. You have to salute that the parenting that they give you. We don't even take care of our parents today. We talk about nuclear families. People are fighting parents in courts of law over money, over property. Arey, you exist because of them, or unhi se ladai.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned in your article Game, Set and Match about modern parenting, where you were kind of upset about how modern parents just leave their kids to nannies and ayahs and video game parlors, which is something I've seen because I sometimes frequent a video game parlor in my city, and on Sundays it's a nightmare because the kids to turn up the volume to 100 and just take over. And
Or they'll give you an iPad.
yeah,
The mother will give you an iPad. What's worse is forget parenting. Academia. In the good old days, if you took tuition, it was a badge of dishonor.
Really?
The guy was not bright. That's why he had to have tuition. Today, इसके तो 3 ट्यूटर आते हैं जी. एक आएगा 3 बजे, एक 4 बजे, एक 5 बजे. ऐसे क्या सिखाने? एक तो मैथ सिखाएगी, एक फिजिक्स, एक बायोलॉजी. ऐसे फिर स्कूल क्यों भेजते हो? और आप क्या करते हो? नहीं, मैं तो प्योर आर्ट्स की स्टूडेंट थी. This is the bloody standard of education in our country now. So, many years ago, I remember I was asked to do some work on National Literacy Mission. And that time everyone said, Kerala, 100% literate. You know what was the definition of the NLM at that time, the National Literacy Mission? If you can sign your name, you're literate. Why was Kerala 100% literate? Well, all the jokers were working in the Gulf, sending money back, so you had to sign for that money.
also the literacy rate is actually a scam.
It was. Can you imagine?
I thought that they could speak or at least read
No, speak
Malayalam.
is not literacy.
Sorry, they could
It
read
is
or
about
write
read
Malayalam.
and write.
Yeah.
So, not at all. But this is what I'm saying. The definition of literacy in our country was your ability to sign your name versus angutha. So, if we were to break up the challenges of humanity today, what are we seeing across the world? We are seeing the politics of identity. Mm-hmm. The politics of identity lead to the politics of hate. We're seeing more and more people. You know, there's an outstanding book which you must read. It's called The Borderless World by Kenichi Ohmae. Kenichi Ohmae was the managing partner of McKinsey in Japan. And he wrote this book, I think, in the late 80s or early 90s, called The Borderless World. What was the EU all about? Borderless trade?
Correct.
Where are we today?
Brexit, post-Brexit.
So what has happened is the world is slowly erecting walls. What did Trump do? A wall with Mexico? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're putting people out of a country that has been built by migrants. America is the land of migration. The only original Americans are the Native Americans, the Native Indians. उनको आपने निवाड़ा दे दिया है कि भाई चलो, we'll give you gambling licenses.
But do you, as a marketer, do you not appreciate what Trump did for politics? Because
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. He used social media. He used fake news. He kept bemoaning fake news, but he also used fake news.
I mean, in terms of his rhetoric as well, the way he spoke.
Absolutely. See, people are looking for disruptors in life. Branding and great branding is about disruption. You don't buy Colgate. Your eventual desire is to buy a set of white teeth. Colgate is the means to the end. No consumer buys brands, they buy benefits. In Trump's case, the benefit they were buying was, let's make America great again. Why? It wasn't that America wasn't great, but he had created a disruption in your mind. यार कोई तो problem होगी, make America great again. क्यों? We are fine? No. He's disrupting your thought. He's planting seeds of discontent. You know, it was famously said, I don't know by who, with forms of government, let fools contest. That which is governed best is best. Democracy, as Churchill said, isn't the finest form of government, but it's the only one that we know.
Right.
Now, if you analyze what Trump did and what Trump will do again in 2024, is he will disrupt the mainstream of political atmospherics.
But do you think he'll win this time? Because he already has he doesn't have a blank canvas like he did before. And some of the things he did are going to be held against him.
I think he'll win.
For real?
I think so. Look, there are 3 things you'll never see me in a panel on the budget on elections and on what's going to happen with, film stars and their kids or whatever, because it's a free for all. So I can't say with certitude, oh, he'll win. But he will be a huge disruption unless he gets indicted. So what Biden and gang may do is they may speeden up the indictment of his, all the charges.
Which has been delayed for so long.
Which has been delayed, they might speeden that up. Because then there are rules under the US Election Authority where if you're indicted for a federal crime, then you're unable to stand for elections. Like we have, but no one enforces it.
Yeah, I had someone on the podcast yesterday, and they said that 40% of most Lok Sabha MPs have criminal cases against them.
Yeah, but this criminal cases is a misnomer. The filing of an FIR in this country is seen as a case. मैंने तो case file कर दी है. It can continue for 30 years. That doesn't mean, people are filing cases against each other because of political vendetta. It's not necessary that the guy is a criminal. So, we have to be very measured in how we decipher the criminality of politicians in our country. Of course, there are some known criminals, the Pappu Yadavs and all these of this world. They're gangsters. But I'm saying a lot of the criminal complaints are written by people in order to thwart their electoral prospects or to prevent them from entering politics.
Got it. I want to segue into marketing and branding because you started working with really big clients in the 90s and the 2000s, and now you do counselage. But I don't know if you've ever seen YouTube ads and the sort of brands that are coming up now, non-legacy brands, non-household brands, the Nykas, the Zerodhas, all of that. Obviously, I did my degree in advertising, so I have a fair bit of experience in that as well. But the way you would conceptualize an ad and deliver a campaign is vastly different from what happens today. You'll have a YouTube channel जिसके ऊपर Country Delight का ad चलता है, 30 second का आता है, really no CTA beyond just a jingle, and then it goes away. How do you feel about this shift in branding and marketing? And do you feel like you miss the days when it was all about a great idea that could just, run across TV sets across the nation?
So, there is no such thing as ideas for today versus ideas of yesterday. A great idea is a great idea, period. But no idea is a great idea unless it's executed, because then it's only staying in your head. आपके मन में, it's like जंगल में मोर नाचा किसने देखा? तो ठीक है, आपके पास idea है, very good. Yeah, keep the idea and stuff it. The essential recipient of your communication remains the same. The consumer. David Ogilvy famously said the consumer is not a moron, she's your wife. It can be said both genders. I don't know if you remember, there was an ad for Cadbury's where this cricketer's girlfriend is in the stands, and then when this guy scores, she breaks into a dance and jumps onto the cricket pitch.
I haven't seen
Very
that.
famous Cadbury's ad. Piyush Pandey, the creator, has now done another ad, but here it's different. The woman is playing cricket and the boyfriend is in the stands. And the boyfriend then jumps out and does this jingle. Now, for a lot of people, oh, yeah, Cadbury's. But there's a deeper meaning here. It is the social hierarchies and this crude patriarchy has now given way to a more gender neutral and gender accepting society. And it's worked. If you see, in the good old days, we also make steel for Tata Steel, the campaign, value stronger than steel ad I wrote, my brother-in-law, Bakwas advertising first class bread for Harvest Gold. Ideas are timeless. Will you ever say that 1984 will no longer be 1984 when Apple was launched is not a great idea? It is a great idea. Its communication remains. The problem is, in today's clutter-driven world, and where you have so many media platforms and so many media channels, your worry is not about the idea. It's about the recipient using that medium to receive that idea. The way you see an ad on your mobile phone will be distinctly different from the way you will see it on television, not because of its length or its size. Inevitably, you will see the ad on your mobile phone alone. But when you're seeing it on television, you will see it with family. So if I were an advertising person still, I would then create different strokes for different folks. So I would create advertising which is completely singular, individualistic for that particular brand to be consumed in a particular manner, whether it's YouTube or, it's not that you're watching YouTube with the whole family. It's still individual.
Right.
But I would create a different situation for cinema, different for hoardings, different for television. And it's going to happen. Currently, it is a bhed chal. No one knows what the hell is going on. Everyone will tell you, digital mein hona hai ji. Look at the irony of India. And this is where I'm saying advertising people have screwed up big time. Media people. The largest full page ads you will see today are for online portals in a newspaper. What are they thinking? All the e-commerce sites are putting full page ads in print newspapers.
Maybe they want to convert print readers to...
This is for buying. आप तेल खरीद लो, दाल खरीद लो, लहसुन खरीद लो, हल्दी खरीद लो. So sometimes it is this desire to usurp. Also remember, in a lot of these e-com sites, the money is cheap. It's all American money. So they are using subvention, which is why the Amazons of the world are losing 6,000 crores, despite being in a formidable business as they are in India. So I'm saying advertising has changed. The power of the idea remains. You're still seeing some great ads.
What do you think about the cred ads? Did you see the cred ads?
Yeah, I love them.
I think they were a nice mixture of...
I love Tanishq. I love what Tanishq is doing. Again, breaking the stereotype. See, what has also happened today, which is actually, if I were running the campaign, I wouldn't do it. But they're taking a risk and they're getting beaten for it. I would not risk any societal infirmity, or I would not want to, create societal turbulence through my advertising. Because I'm a brand. I'm not a change agent like Mother Teresa or Swami Vivekananda or whoever. The problem is, a lot of these brands want to tell the world, देखो भाई हम इतने smart हैं, हमने तो दुनिया ही बदल दी है. Then they get slammed by all these right-wing people or left-wing people, depending on, the ad. My worry is, advertising stays true only to one thing, the brand, and its engagement with the consumer. Ultimately, marketing is about inventing desire. If I invent desire in your mind, आप मेरा brand खरीदोगे. If I don't invent desire, you won't bother. So the question that needs to be asked is, how many brands in India are assiduously working towards inventing desire? The platform is ridiculously irrelevant because the platforms will also change. Today you're seeing it on YouTube. You are popular on YouTube. Tomorrow, let's say you decide कि भाई मैंने Dostcast Spotify पे भी करना है.
We do that, by the way.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then you say, I will also do it on Koo. I will also do it on Twitter Spaces. Now, you will have to adapt. Spotify, which is primarily an audio medium, you will have to adapt. Then it's irrelevant us sitting. We could be sitting in a bloody park with birds chirping. That adaptability, and the desire to conform to the environs of that medium will also need to be explored. And that's why it's very important for advertising people, which includes the whole chain from creative to strategy to media, to figure out where the consumer is going. That's number one. Number two, we live in very, very ADD-driven times. The attention deficit is so high that it's unimaginable. People are not spending time even communicating. You come to a Delhi dinner, or sab theek hai? Yeah, I haven't seen him for ages. He's actually looking at who else is entering the party. He's not bothered. You're a social crutch. So he'll hold your shoulder and say, "Oh, bhai, haven't met you for a long time. Oh, Tiger, what's up?" He's used you as a crutch. He's used an animal nomenclature for you, and he's bloody walked away. So where is the attention? Where are conversations happening? Great ideas are about triggering great conversations.
Sadly, I found that conversations only happen when they're broadcasted live. When they're being broadcasted is when people are forced to pay attention.
Yeah.
Usually it's say something and then look at your phone, which is remarkable that you still get to read a book a day because, you know, I use my Kindle and then I highlight the notes and then I send it to myself so I can build a newsletter. I find that it's hard to read for the leisure or just the joy of reading. Everything has to have a CTA at the end, has to be productized.
See, that's the other problem. That's the other problem. I think, and I'm glad you've raised this issue. We have become obsessed with output. We are so obsessed with output that the quality of input no one gives a damn about. भाई मेरे को यार ये हर हफ्ते 3 दोस्त कास्ट करने हैं तो 3 पप्पू चप्पू को ले आओ और ख़त्म करो. But I'm telling you, that's how we think. So I have to do 3 and get any chappu pappu to do it and get it over and done with. Then you begin to think, yeah, the day I was doing this thing with Suhel, Abhijit Iyer Mitra was also available. He's far brighter. Why the hell did I not do him? But मैंने 1 घंटा गुड़गांव आके waste किया. Then we start justifying our stupidity. Like many months ago, years ago, someone asked me, what is your view on artificial intelligence in India? I said, that's fine, but what will you do with native stupidity? भाई इतने stupid people है, artificial intelligence क्या करोगे आप? Someone has to use that AI, na? So my point is, we are so bothered. Now see, you're also factoring in 100 things. Yeah, I'll read this, then I'll do notes, then I'll send it back to me, then I'll put it in my newsletter. Why?
So how do you cultivate leisure then? You clearly have.
You don't have to cultivate leisure. Leisure must be part of your DNA. When was the last time you could identify a tree?
It's been a while.
I rest my case. Today you ask someone, ये bougainvillea है या ये take them, show them some seeds, ये chia है, amaranth. Look at the tragedy of India. You ask an IIM Ahmedabad student who's the Vice President of India. He won't know Jagdeep Dhankar. But ask him what is Hrithik Roshan's pet name, and they'll all say Dugu. That's where India is missing the plot. Our priorities are so screwed up. Our desire to be in with the rest of the world is so high. And our desire to impress. We all want to impress. Half the jokers in India are wearing the bloody blazer brand mark on their sleeve. And until I tell them, bhai, isko to nikalo. So, the issue is, I'm not being dismissive or critical of our people. But the fact is, we have got ourselves into this hole. You know, it's not important whether you're the world's 5th largest economy. Matters diddly jack to anyone. If I told you we are the 3rd largest economy, you'll say, or papad bele aapne. What matters is, how are you as a functioning society? How are you as custodians of that civilizational legacy? How are you as promoters of the idea of India? And ultimately, how are you in terms of your ability to amplify the scholarship you have? Please remember, education finishes, knowledge continues. The tragedy in our country is we define everything by education, by degrees.
There's a lot of listeners on the show who always mention, hey, I have a reading habit, I read a lot, but I still can't be articulate, I can't be eloquent, I can't go out. What would you say to them?
Learn. Don't give me this poppycock. Oh, I can't go out, I can't, not everyone will be Cicero. So that's a given. No one is expecting you to, deliver the Radhakrishnan lecture on the 5th of September in 2023. No one's expecting you to do that. But to then deny the ability of articulation to yourself or to justify, I'm very shy, main to bol nahi pata. That's ridiculous. Especially, and look, my issue is not with whether the person is articulate or not. In customer-facing businesses, in roles as CEO or whatever, you have to be articulate. Why? Because people want to know what you believe in or what you stand for, what you say. How can you be stumbling, bumbling, doing all of that and not have even the basic level of articulation, which actually, see, a lot of people confuse articulation for great speech. No. Articulation is the only reflector of a clear mind. If your mind is unclear, your articulation will be befuddled. So it is a barometer. It defines the clarity of someone's mind in the manner in which that person, he or she, speaks. So it's very important to understand articulation through that prism. We often say, यार ये बोलता बढ़िया है. नहीं, बोलता क्या है वो important है. बोलते तो सब बढ़िया है. भाई, there are a zillion singers, but you'll only remember Lata Mangeshkar or Hemant Kumar. So it's very important to define A, what that articulation will do, B, what the output is. Which is why I'm saying Kindle is fine. But then what you need to do is kindle intellectual curiosity every day. And that won't happen with an electronic device. You will only kindle intellectual curiosity if your mind is curious. And that, to my mind, is the most critical factor that people in our country or any country should look at.
I'm just going to ask you it might seem like a stupid question. Some people say that curiosity is inborn, right? Some people, great people on a spectrum, that this is a very curious person. This person does not care about if it's rain or shine, they're going to be the same. How do you do that? Do you go out, meet people? Is there something that you've cracked? Do you see that it...
So I'll tell you I don't know what others do, and I'm no life coach and all. I'll only tell you from my personal example. I don't hear. I listen. Hearing is a non-cognitive function. If you have ears, you'll hear. I always listen. But I also stop listening if I find that person to be stupid. So I don't suffer fools. And I have limited time on this planet, so I don't want to waste my time. And, people say, oh, ye bada arrogant hai yo. Fine. Screw it. I don't want to waste 1 hour of my time talking about inanities. It's a waste of my time. Second is I will always listen with a perspective from and of learning. I will not listen to you because, you happen to be very important or you're a big cheese. Which is why I will listen to the lowest of the low to the highest of the high. What the Gwala can teach me, the milkman can teach me, or what the cabbie can tell me about that city or the state of affairs, no prime minister, no ideologue, no bloody think tank people can tell me.
It seems like you don't judge people at all. You treat them as
hate
equals.
judging people. It's the worst thing to do. I told you before we started that I've never Googled anyone. I find it a waste of my time. And if I'm meeting that person, why should I do double the work? The other thing is, in India, we are obsessed with hard work. Hard work is for mules. We shouldn't be working hard. Deva Gowda slept right through his prime ministership. India was fine. When prime ministers start working hard, all the complications begin. Work smart. To this day, I'm 59. I'll be 60 in May next year. To this day, I sleep every afternoon. After lunch. Every afternoon. The world could come crashing down. Not now, even as a management trainee. So no one can say, oh, ab to aap so sakte ho ji, pehle thodi hota tha. Pehle bhi hota tha. And everyone knows. And I hardly work after lunch. I get up from my siesta, then I tinker around, I read.
How do you make that happen?
I've always done it because unlike all you young people, I get up at 4:30 or 5. And I'm on the ball. Like before this Dostcast, I finished my weekly column. I did a live television interview. I did 3 Zoom calls. I'm done. I'm not here to change the world like you are. Or conquer the world.
I'm not here to change the world. Just have
I'm relaxed. I have nothing to do. And a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I'm really busy. The guys who come late. Actually, the other thing is I'm deathly punctual. The guys who come late, of them Bertrand Russell had said, when you want something done, give it to the busiest man. Because the man who does nothing never has the time. So anyone tells you, oh yeah, I'm very busy, means they're bullshit. They're not busy at all.
Fuck. You've just made me reevaluate a lot of things that we've been doing. But so how do you manage all of that? Do you automate and delegate to other people?
Nothing. In my office, there are two people, Siva and Rampyare. One is the secretary, one is my accountant. That's it. There are three of us.
That's it?
Yeah.
And you've been doing this for years without any problem whatsoever. You've
None.
never had to. What about work dinners? What about like
I don't do work dinners.
when you have to meet clients?
I don't
go
meet
out?
clients at work. I never make clients out of friends. I make friends out of clients. And I never do work dinners because I find it boring, tedious. Why should I? They've hired me for my mind. They haven't hired me for my table manners. And why should I? I don't need to bore them or they bore me, with due respect. So it's not that, and I don't call them work dinners. Let's say if I'm having dinner with Mr. Tata, for me it's a great dinner. I don't qualify, oh, it's a work dinner.
You don't discuss like is Q3 में इतनी earnings CM
Never,
कर सकते हैं?
never. That's the other thing. Civility has gone out of our lives. We don't know what to say where. Many years ago when I first moved to Delhi, there was a lunch, garden lunch, someone's house. One lady comes up, "Sir, you are new?" I said, "Means?" I said, "No, I'm old." "No, you are new to Delhi?" I said, "Yes." "What you are doing?" I said, "I manufacture colored sanitary napkins, primarily red." "Okay, bugger off." Then comes another lady. "Where you are living?" I said, "Across the river." "Oh, which river?" I said, "The Thames." I said, "Obviously the Yamuna, "Oh, and your business?" I said, "You are?" "Oh, myself, Mrs. Khetan." I said, yeah, of course, I know your husband very well." "Oh, how?" I said, "He's one of our finest clients." "Ah, and you're doing what?" I said, "I run Asia's largest escort service, and he's the only person who pays on time and in cash." She then went and complained to the host, who then came to me saying, "What the hell have you done?" I said, "What do I do?" I said, "This is the way people in Delhi are. Are you new? What do you do? Where you are living?" I mean, it's true of other cities, but it's certainly not true of Calcutta. So the ability to use humor, to use satire, to be fun has also escaped us. We are all bloody proper. It's almost as if we don't live in homes, we live in silos where we are bathed in cement and then cast and put out to the world. "Aaj bhai ye cement hai." Stop laughing. Our lunches are quick. Our funerals are even shorter. Our weddings are long. Look at the irony of our country, of our planet. We don't have languorous, lingering lunches or dinners. Everyone looking at the world, "Acha yaar, service kya hua?
Yeah, it's kind of sad because a lot of my friends are like, I have to meet you in transit. Let's quickly meet in the car and then go.
Now, what is this phrase, in transit? You're not at a bloody airport terminal. "Oh, I have to meet you in transit." And there'll be people who will call you, "Suhel, we need to meet here." I said, "Yeah, sure." "Acha, I'll get back to you." 10 days later, "Suhel, we need to meet." So earlier I would say, yeah, sure. Later I said, "Listen, why the hell are you wasting my time? I'm not one of your 30 calls a day, because you're not part of a call center that you have to make 30 calls a day. Yeah, we must meet."
Just hold up appearances. Try to be friendly.
So my other thing is, call them for who they are. When people start calling out other people, we'll become a better world, because then people know that this bullshit doesn't walk, it doesn't sell. Currently, we are all keeping up our pretenses because we believe these pretenses will help insulate us from any social or societal turbulence. But it never works that way.
That's true.
So you have to be very, very careful. You have to be ultra conscious as to how and what you want to achieve. Which is why I'm saying, many years ago I was asked that what is your ambition? What do you really want to do in life? Mm-hmm. And I replied, I said, a good night's sleep. जो हिंदी की कहावत है ना, घोड़े बेच के सोना, the ability for people to sleep has gone. You know why? Not because they are snoring and they have sleep apnea and all that shit. No. Their mind is so full of rage, full of polarity, full of, bitterness, negativity. Waste of time. In Julius Caesar, William Shakespeare, Julius Caesar says, "Let me have men about me who are fat. For Cassius has a lean and hungry look. Such men are dangerous." It's very important who you surround yourself with. It's very important who you warm up with. But it's most important who you love. Because sometimes your brand of affection is not a determinant of who the person you love is, but it's a determinant of the person that you are. We can't aim to change the world, we never will. We'll just be mere passers by. Our epitaphs will be shorter and shorter in this digital age. Our obituaries no one will read. They will forget you after your first death anniversary, as they should. So don't expect the world to pause when you wouldn't have paused for the world. Don't expect the world to remember, यार सुहेल बड़ा अच्छा आदमी था, बड़ा बुरा आदमी था. और अगर अच्छाई वो भूल भी गए, again blame Shakespeare. In the same play he says, the good is oft interred with the bones, the evil lives long after. That is human nature. So my whole point is, live every moment with integrity, with purposefulness, and with unmitigated joy. Because that's the only thing you have. Here we are all on borrowed time. Someone else will come and take our place. Someone else will be doing a podcast, say, 100 years hence. We will always be worried about the legacy we create. We have to be worried about the present we live.
That's true. There are several eroded monuments that are a testament to what you said. I wanted to speak to you about Khushwant Singh because I
love the man.
I grew up. Well, I was forbidden to read his books, but I would always read them. And his idea of Delhi is what I grew up on. And once I went to the places he described in the books, I felt like I was too late to. Otherwise, I would have met him. You wrote a book with him. What was it like, just out of pure curiosity, to meet him? Was there anything spectacular about him that you still remember?
So, Khushwant and I met in a very strange way. I was playing the lead role in I.S. Johar's Bhutto. I was playing Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and Khushwant came to see the play at Sri Ram Center. This was in 1984 or 85. And then Khushwant Singh says, come and see me in Sujan Singh Park the next evening. I said, brilliant. And I remember I took a bus from IIT Delhi to Connaught Place, and from there walked to Sujan Singh Park, and outside the door there was a sign saying, "Do not ring the bell unless you're expected." And I said, he's just my kind of man. I was 21 when I met him. So 84, 21. But our friendship lasted an entire lifetime thereafter. So he saw the play. In fact, he's been very generous. He says, I was the best theatre actor he'd ever seen, in his own biography, his autobiography. Then we decided to collaborate on this book, Kalighat to Calcutta. So he did the prose, and R.K. Lakshman, who again became a lifelong friend, did the cartoons, the caricatures, and we continued this friendship. So much so that on the day he died, the night before that, I had dinner with him. And I took BA 142 or whatever it was, the flight at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning from Delhi, connected at Heathrow, landed in New York, when I was told that he's passed away. In many ways, we found solace in each other. I'll tell you why. We loved a great meal. We loved our drink. We talked about 100 issues because he was a vociferous reader, voracious reader. And there was no malice. For all his sins, he was one of the most genteel souls you could ever meet. And here was a man whose knowledge from birds to monuments to cityscapes to, his brilliant work on Sikhism, the history of the Sikhs. It's fantastic. So in him I saw a great, great friend and who's remained a friend all his life.
I see. Yeah. Because I have no one else I know who actually knew him, I figured I'd ask you this. Yeah, I'm super delighted that I got to do this with you. And thank you for allowing us in your beautiful home and being as eloquent, as warm, as welcoming as you are. Because I read in your book that you don't practice ageism, which is something that...
Never.
I mean, you spoke to me with my first name, which is something I'm not used to often when I go to meet people. So thank you for doing this. And
Thank you for having me.
people can obviously follow you on all your multiple platforms, Twitter, Instagram, elsewhere. And yeah, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's been truly delightful. And I'm glad that you invited me for this because, as I said, the art of conversation is slowly dying. We're now in the artful, dodgy world of convenience. Everything is about convenience. But you know what? Life isn't an ATM. You have to be at the counter, engage with the teller, and then see the world behind. Thank you so much.
Amen to that. All right. Cool. This was Dostcast with Suhel Seth. Check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye. Take care.